Let's take a moment here after studying access consciousness to just look at one strange offshoot of this particular way of delving into the many things that revolve around this word consciousness. I'm referring to a fear most people have of subliminal advertising. If the image that you're seeing now on your screen were to pop up in the middle of a movie, very, very briefly, do you happen to think that you would be affected by it? If it was so quick that you couldn't read it, remember the Stan Dehane experiment, would there be enough influence from these words to make you go and buy popcorn? Subliminal advertising was a hoax. In 1957, this chap, James Vickeray, very astutely pulled a marketing prank. He held a news conference to announce that he had a brand new method to influence consumers. That'll always get their attention, right? Subliminal projection. And the image you just saw on the previous slide, that one is from his initial presentation. The claim was that these messages would be super effective at influencing consumer behavior. And the media went wild over this. They loved it. Unfortunately, it was all a hoax. He admitted as much in 1962. There was no science behind this, no journals, no experiments, no nothing. The whole thing was nothing more than a deranged marketing stunt. But it greatly affected the way people thought about subliminal advertising, the unconscious, access consciousness, and so on. We can still see this in people's panics over, for example, satanic messages hidden when you play rock and roll records backwards, or subliminal seduction. Unfortunately, this kind of stuff never goes away. So you'll see things like, there's a website, realsubliminal.com. And the benefits they offer are kind of thing most people aspire to or believe that they ought to aspire to. So they tell you how to get rich quick, how to be effective, how to lose weight, how to seduce others. And those are for the positive effects, and the negative effects. You've got brainwashing, you've got these satanic messages, and you've got the nonsense that we mentioned before, neuro-linguistic programming, which is a weird form of person influencing technique, which is not grounded in science at all. The language of subliminal advertising has entered into our general discourse now. So when you see Barack Obama standing in front of a Superman statue like this, it's hard not to feel that there's something here. So let's distinguish the sense from the nonsense. The claims of James Vickeray were nonsense. Subliminal advertising in this sense was an absolute hoax. That does not mean that we are unaffected by our environments. On the contrary, we're learning that we are greatly affected by our environments and that we are largely unconscious of that influence. Marketers know this. We've noticed the role of behavioral shaping throughout the commercial world. The role of advertising in the current contemporary society greatly illustrates the fact that somehow we are greatly influenced by all the stuff around us. What it does not give us license to do is this kind of bald statement claim that suggests that some wily marketer can control the strings, as it were, of other people by tapping into their unconscious. That is an example of what happens when this discussion around the word conscious and unconscious gets out of hand. So that was just a little foray into the wacky world of subliminal advertising.